Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to I was going to do the Manchester United and Manchester United and Everton watch along, but Liverpool is the priority on this channel, as we know. I'm joined by quite a big panel tonight. Very familiar faces, as you know. Luke from the 1892 Red TV will be joining us hopefully very soon. We've got Ricky, Spider, Connor, and obviously Doug. And speaking of the devil, here he is. Too busy playing Warzone, Luke, are you, lads? Priority list. Come on, son. What's happening here?
Warzone is a priority at the moment, to be honest.
You don't win games of Warzone, lads. So
no, me and Ricky always come tied 13th all the time. We need to get 12th.
yeah, that'd be Liverpool this season, mate. Woo! But thank you very much, gents. And as I said, everyone, do get your comments in. Fundamentally, you are the most important people on the channel. Everyone in the comment section below. Hope you've all had a great Friday. As I said, end of the weekday. Well, some of you work the weekends anyway, but hope you've had a fantastic Friday and there's a great start to your weekend anyway. And look after yourselves if you are going out tonight with your mates or the family, having a cheeky bevy or a cup of tea, whatever beverage you do have. And to start off tonight's episode, I'm going to be doing this a little bit often. And if you get it straight away, keep your answer to yourself. And that goes to these five on the panel as well. And it's a little quiz question. It's basically, who am I? You've probably got that straight away, but chat, don't put it in the comments yet. We'll reveal that at the back end of the episode. So please, someone remind me. Watch me forget this. So have a little look at that. So yeah, and it's not me dad. It's a Liverpool player playing in that Adidas kit. So if you know that answer to the question, don't say it. Yeah, we'll save it to the back end of the show. And no Google searches, please. Don't be cheating. Mickey, start off with you, La. As I said, I'll quickly go straight into obviously just a little talking point as well. And it was fundamentally very important, very close to my heart as well. Obviously, Liverpool's Disabled Supporters Association, quite frankly, is absolutely disgusting. And hopefully this does get identified. Obviously, Liverpool's Disabled Supporters Association, and obviously Liverpool's DSA. Madrid have allocated us just 4 wheelchair bays for the next fixture in March. Although the Santiago Bernabeu is under redevelopment, we expected the attendance to be via 70,000. This is a disgrace. UEFA threatens disabled supporters with contempt in May. Let's hope they address this. So they've written to LFC CEO Billy Hogan, asking him to go back to UEFA and ask for a number of wheelchair bays in Madrid to be increased, which will keep our disabled supporters fully informed. Thank you to obviously Liverpool's Spirit of Shankly and obviously Joe as well. I think he's an MP for the assistance with this. And goes on to say, Spirit of Shankly, we've learned the allocation of the Madrid game in March is to stay at 1,800 with only 4 wheelchairs. This breaches UEFA regulations that state it must be a minimum of 5%. In that case, 3,000 to 3,500. We, the Liverpool DSA and the fans Europe, have asked LFC to get back to UEFA and demand the increase. Disgusting, but quite frankly, not surprised. In all honesty, not just football venues, but a lot of venues in the UK and in around Europe do need to make the accessibility for a lot of the stadiums and have the infrastructure. I think we're still a very long way behind in terms of the infrastructure of these big stadiums and venues of not having correct accessibility for the supporters or fans with disabilities. So hopefully that is sorted quite quickly and UEFA do get their act together in all honesty. But Ricky, as I said, mates, you're going to game tomorrow. I'd say you're excited, but you're excited just to go be back at Anfield, mate. It's been quite a while for you, anyway.
I went last season, but man, I don't know if we've won a game when I've been there, so it don't bid well for that. But I'm just going there to start a protest, mate. So with me FSG. Oh,
oh yeah, there we go. It's FSG switching your camera off there.
Yeah, I'm going out there with me FSG sign and me shirts. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to the game. To be fair, I think we get a pasting tomorrow, so it's gonna be interesting. Good to be back there, and hopefully we can win a game when I actually turn up. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I've got a decent record. Well, I did. I don't think Liverpool have actually been beaten when I've been over the last 3-4 years period, which is quite rare. As I said, it wasn't too bad, but as long as you enjoy it, mate, that's the most important thing. And I think
I won't enjoy it.
no, the Reds will do the business tomorrow night, mate. The crowd, and hopefully you do get behind the lads, because that's what Liverpool Football Club does its best. As a city, it comes together and unites against everything. As Scousers, we get behind everyone, and Liverpool Football Club stands for getting behind people and behind players as well. And yeah, it's, as I said, everyone get behind them. And once, of course, we know the issues in midfield, Spider, but it's another opportunity now for Liverpool to hopefully put things right, in all honesty. And there's no hiding place at Anfield, as Ricky said. This is the main stage, and this is where everyone delivers.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I'm a bit more optimistic than Ricky. I know Ricky's got a point. He's well due his point. He's going up to make his point third about FSG tomorrow night, which is great. And the fans should be heard in all aspects, no matter what the opinion is. For me, if Gakpo needs to start tomorrow night, so I'm feeling more optimistic. If he starts tomorrow night, because of the form that kind of Ox has been in the last 2 games, I'd probably play him instead of Elliott, and in that midfield with I'd like to see us go somewhat strong and try and get some form into the team. Just don't play the young fellas for the sake of playing the young fellas, really. Yeah. For the sake of it, I'd like to see the team play themselves back into form without. No, this is where the kind of young fellas have to kind of step aside and just say, all right, there's a priority here. The lads need to play themselves into form, and that's what I would want anyway. So yeah, Ox maybe Fab and Thiago, if not, one of the other senior players. I'd still even be happy with a Bajcetic in there. But as young as it gets for me, But I think Elliott needs a small bit of a rest. I think they're putting too much on his shoulders. For such a young player in the middle of the park. It's grand if he was out in the wings, less pressure on him. He just has to get a ball in and lay off. But the fact that he has to do what he does, and he's not really a defensive-minded player, that's all the fans notice, that he's not backing up Trent enough or backing up the midfield enough in defence, and they don't notice the good stuff that he's doing going forward. So he's taking the slating unfairly when he's probably been one of our hardest working players. But for me and
Luke very much spoke about that yesterday as well. With Callum as well and Ricky. Yeah. We'll jump on to the starting 11s very soon, mate. You're jumping ahead there.
Otherwise, ahead of myself.
No worries. But as Luke, as Spider alluded to, and Ricky, it's a game for, as I said to you yesterday with Callum and Ricky, it presents Liverpool with their best opportunity to win a trophy this year, mate. I know it's not ideally, for me personally, it's not on the highest priority list, but fundamentally, it's still a trophy for Liverpool, mate. What's your rationale thinking going into this game, mate? Are you hoping that Liverpool go with a strong lineup, or how do you think Jurgen Klopp potentially will approach this?
Personally, I think he's got no choice. I think he's got to go as strong as possible. We're not in any good form. We've not really got the players in the squad at the moment that we can really rotate around. We've got injuries. We've obviously got players in and out of form, and obviously we need to pick that up. And what better way to do it in a competition which we're defending this season? Obviously we are, as I said on the positive yesterday, we are FA Cup holders. Obviously we have to go into this competition seriously. You've only got to look at Manchester United tonight. They've gone with a strong squad against Everton because they want to win a trophy this year. And Liverpool really need to follow suit on that tomorrow night as well. I'm actually kind of gutted that I'm not going with Ricky tomorrow, because I'd like to have seen him going around. If he's
got escort. I think I've got a massive feeling, Ricky. You don't get escort to our stadium, lad.
I think, do you know what? When I got offered the tickets, I was like, do you know what? Like, obviously, I actually can't go tomorrow, so I was like, should I really give it to Ricky? Should I actually trust him to go? And obviously, no, but.
all jokes
Yeah,
aside,
just saying, Luke, you're getting your ticket stopped.
But nah, I mean, just answering your question, Jack, I think Liverpool need to go strong tomorrow, and Gakpo does have to start. It'd be good to see him. I mean, the pictures from him in training, we have to sort of take that as a positive and, go forward into the next few games, because we've got some massive games coming up. We've got, this game tomorrow, then we've got a tough away trip to Brighton next week. So Liverpool really need to start to kick in form. So full strength squad, in my opinion, would be good, but maybe a couple that could be rested, but we'll see.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I think, Con, as I said, it's been a while since I've had you on, la. Hope you've had a good Christmas and New Year, mate. As I said, and obviously Doug as well. We'll get to Doug's thoughts. And make sure if you are tuning in, everyone, make sure to, as I said, Mark, if you could drop all the lads' links in again, it'd be muchly appreciated. Or the mods, if you please can, obviously to everyone's great channels. So I appreciate you jumping on, Connor. How are you doing, mate? As I said, how are you? Like all of us, it's Liverpool are in a very bad situation. We have been this season. It's very unlike Liverpool over the last 3-4 year periods. We've been so accustomed to very much winning every game of football. What are your thoughts going into this game, mate?
I think one of the best things that would cheer me up if Ricky ran on the pitch tomorrow, then just did a whole protest by sprinting on the pitch.
They have views of Con F from the Cop Council.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think Ricky might have to take a free transfer of Liverpool's transfer kitty, to be honest, though, to be fair.
No, but I think like you said, we've been so used to being in a winning position, especially this time of the season. Usually we're, near enough top of the league, or, challenging for the league in every cup competition, and we're, flying high. And obviously this season hasn't been, the season that we've all hoped it's been. And of course injuries don't, and players not performing doesn't help that massively. But if you can tomorrow set a statement of intent, I think that's the only good thing you can do. I think obviously the shining light, as the rest of the lads have said already, Cody Gakpo, for me, it's a good run out and a great opportunity for him. And as well, it's also interesting to see what will happen with the midfield, because I think he's going to mix it up a little bit. I think
Hendo, was it called?
Hendo, Basetic. I think Basetic starts for me. Gone a bit forward, and potentially Ben Doak. I think Ben Doak might get a run out on our right hand side. But it's just, for me, if I was Jurgen, I would start the strongest defense, because obviously Matip and Konate haven't played too many games together. I know Konate and Gomez have started, I think, to the most partnerships that are left without Virgil van Dijk. So I change one or two things, but then just try and have some momentum going ahead, because as Luke said and the other lads have said, we've got very tough games coming up. Brighton away, Chelsea at home. It doesn't get any easier over the next couple of weeks, and the way we've been playing at the moment, it's we're going to drop as many points as we can think of. So some consistency is needed, and I just want to, even if we was to lose tomorrow, I just want a performance that we can just go, okay, fair enough, Wolves were better, but the performance was there, and we can actually take something away from the game.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And it's a great point that Connor's alluded to there, Doug, as well. If you had a good Christmas and New Year, mate. It's been a while since I've had you on. So, as I said, me and you have been, well, I think everyone's been busy doing live stream watch-alongs, but hope you're well, mate. Thank you for coming on. And Connor's spot on there, but would you add to that, obviously, the consistent levels? I think all of us, every Liverpool fan, I think Liverpool have chopped and changed so much at the back this season. And I was speaking today before with Ivan and obviously Keith, and we spoke about the like any elite sport, you've got to have consistency in terms of your performances fundamentally. But I don't think it's helped Liverpool the amount of, yes, you can't compensate for injuries within a squad, and that's how fundamentally that's what every Liverpool fan spoke about the midfield. But ideally, you'd have a good enough squad, and Liverpool at the back, thankfully, have got good enough cover. I think getting cover for Trent is impossible, because if you're looking to replace the quality of Trent, you're looking in excess of £100 million player. And in all honesty, Trent is the best in his position in Europe in terms of what he does on a football pitch. But consistency in levels of performance, Doug, for you going into the monitor.
Oh, well, obviously, thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it. And yes, it has been a while. I am not looking forward to this game tomorrow at all. I think it is the worst possible opponent to be playing. Because Wolves are a team that will come and sit behind the ball. They will allow us more possession, and they'll try to counter attack us. Like Lopetegui is a very good manager and all that. We have a very poor record against Wolves in the FA Cup. I think everyone should probably know that as well. But as Connor said, I just want to see a performance. Because recently, like that Brentford game, we were really, really poor. And I don't think it's not a one-off this season. There have been a few games where you'd be like, "What on earth are we watching?" As well. So I am hopeful for a performance tomorrow. Hopefully we get through. But even if we get the last thing I want is a replay, because obviously we go back to Molineux, and having two games against Wolves is disastrous, to say the very, very least. So I'm just hoping for a good performance tomorrow. Early goal would be nice, and let's just try and not concede the first goal for once.
Hopefully not. Better said, hopefully not. Christ. But yeah, he's spot on there, Doug. Luke, the main man, Gakpo, I think is the better Dutch pronunciation. Gakpo, but we're English, so we'll call him Gakpo. I'm Scouse, so it's probably another pronunciation. Excited to see him, mate. I think Vicky alluded to in the lads already. It's the positive to what has been a negative couple of weeks for Liverpool Football Club, but what he brings is goals, brings a lot of assists as well. He's in the 1% in the whole of players, especially over the last 12-month period for the assists, which all the percentiles, he's quite high up there, mate. Would you start him? And what do you hope he brings, not just for tomorrow night's game, but long-term for Liverpool? Is he hopefully a beacon of hope potentially for Liverpool this season?
I mean, first of all, I love the pronunciation of Gakpo. I mean, I know you've been, I mean, obviously spelling his name wrong on pro clubs as Cody.
On a Cody.
But no, he starts. He has to start. I mean, we missed him against Brentford. I know we've not even seen him in a Liverpool shirt yet, but we obviously see the lack, obviously, of options that we've got on the left-hand side in particular. I think he starts on the left tomorrow. And I think it'll be interesting because he is, in my opinion, he is quite versatile in those attacking areas. He played very centrally at the World Cup as sort of the main striker at times. Obviously, he does come in from the left. Obviously, he's got that presence as well in the box as well. He's a good header of the ball. He can obviously shoot from range as well, which obviously gives us a bit of a different option going forward. He's able to. It does remind me slightly, not too much. Obviously, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but it does remind me slightly of Mane when he first arrived at Liverpool. Like he's able to, and like it's something maybe slightly what we've been missing over the last few months. We've heavily missed Luis Diaz, since that injury against Arsenal. We've missed Diogo Jota. We need something in those attacking areas that really could give a breather to someone like Mo Salah, and Darwin Núñez can gain a bit of confidence with someone like Cody Gakpo along, that on that side of the pitch. So I'm hoping, yes, I believe he does start the game. I don't think he plays a full game. I think he will come off, sort of halfway through the second half. If Liverpool were in a comfortable position, we can bring him off and get a standing ovation from the Kop. That's the hope. But I'm hoping if he does start tomorrow, I'm hoping he's starting alongside someone like Darwin Núñez and someone like Mo Salah, or some key players, because as I said before, and like everyone else has said, we need a win tomorrow. And if we don't win tomorrow, then we're in a lot of trouble going into these next few games. So I'm hoping he does start. I'm hoping he sets the ground running very quickly, because I know there's a lot of pressure on his shoes there, but we need it fast because we could fall real behind over the next few weeks.
Yeah, 100%. Spider, me and you spoke, I think, when I've had the lads on, and we spoke over the last 12 months since Luis Diaz come in that window. How are you anticipating Gakpo to very much impose himself. As Luke's absolutely spot on, we need him to hit the ground running, especially with the absence of obviously Jota and Luis Diaz. We were doing a stream, me and Connor, a couple of weeks ago, and we had quite a lot of the PSV fans coming in, and he spoke about his delivery, and I've watched a couple of videos over the last couple of nights as well in terms of a more in-depth look. So it's intriguing. He offers Liverpool deliveries from out wide left as well. An asset of his game is all about creating goals, as I said, in the 1 percentile over the last 12 months in the top 5 leagues or in Europe anyway. So what are you hoping he brings tomorrow, and you expect him to hit the ground running, as Luke alluded to?
Yeah, it's mainly stability. Like I'm hoping that he hits the ground running, like we all do, I think. For me, maybe I want to see more stability. I want to see more output from the left-hand side. I want to see more, or should I say input from the left-hand side, but I want to see more of stretching teams again rather than being so predictable in the middle of the park, because since we lost Diaz and we lost Jota, losing Mane on top of it, like I'll say it this way, we would not have been talking, nobody would have been mentioning Mane's name if Luis Diaz and Jota were still fit. So in a way, it would have been fondly. You'll always miss certain things about Sadio Mane, you always will, but I don't think the team in general would have been missing as much if the lads had not got the injury that they had. The fact that they have shows that we're completely weakened on that left-hand side. Robbo has been running on. You can see how tired Robbo is. Robbo will still run until he collapses, but you can see it in his face, like he's just burnt 5 minutes into running on the pitch, His body is taking it. Gakpo is going to come in and give some stability. I think you're going to see a lot more creative chances. His passing is great. His link-up play is great. His weakest part is probably back to goal, but he doesn't do that too often.
Yeah,
so I think
I
think you'll see a lot of sidestepping inside and lots of shots driven at the goalkeeper, and then hopefully Nunez or Salah can just jump in and pick up on the scraps that are left there if he hasn't played them through. But I think he'll create more chances alone for those two just from taking shots than he will even passing to them. So it's a no-brainer really. Start to do tomorrow, and just introduce him to the cup in the right way. It's a cup game. It's not something that we wouldn't mind being able to go far and kind of say, all right, so we at least we have a trophy to fight for at the end of the season, which with like one of our worst seasons in a long while. And but it's not as important pressure on Gakpo to start him in the game, so he can be introduced to the fans. He can be brought in nicely. He can give in a free role, drifting from the left-hand side into that number 10 role, back out to the left-hand side, helping out to the midfield a bit. I think, look, I think more than anything, if he starts, it'll give the team a lift. It'll give him an outlet. So yeah, and we'll get to the other reasons why when we're talking about our starting 11.
Oh, good, lad.
See, I did it right this time, man. I did it right this time.
There we go, lad. It was so good, mate. And as I said, welcome to everyone for tuning in, as I said. And I think Tom's going to be having a meltdown in about 20 minutes when they're 3-0 down. So just said he's going to be hanging his head out the window. Right now, I'm out the window watching the game.
I'm watching it myself.
Well, the lads on the panel tonight and you, chat, can keep us updated. Of course, so it was a change to the schedule, but I imagine watching them two rubbish teams. And we're playing worse, but we're much better eventually. We'll quickly touch on obviously Wolves as a team. I'll ask Ricky and Doug in a second, but Connor, I'll ask you, mate. Obviously, me and you, we spoke to you this season. It's interesting. Julian Lopetegui, the man behind him on the thumbnail as well, come from obviously Spain. I think he managed Real Madrid, obviously Sevilla as well. Obviously, started off with ice, he drawed a couple of nights ago. It's Aston Villa, I think it was. We'll have a quick look in terms of their starting 11 from their last fixture, which was in the Premier League. So you got Jose Sarr, Semedo, Collins, Kilman, Bueno, completely. Nathan Nordy, I think it is, that usually plays left back anyway for Wolves. Anticipate him playing there tomorrow. Matheus Nunes, who don't get me started, that's who being linked with over the last 48 hours, Christ. Ruben Neves, João Moutinho, Juan Pedence, and Diogo Costa as well. Connor, any players that going into this game you admired in that team? or do you anticipate any of the players to be a threat? For me, I look at that team that did start in the Premier League a couple of nights ago, and Pedence, I don't know if you've seen his goal. I think I was speaking to Luke and Ricky when we were on the PlayStation over the last couple of weeks. This last week, and it was, I suppose, it's Hazard-esque goal for the little man. The man's about 5'2". I'm taller than him, Christ. But yeah, your thoughts on that Wolves team, mates? Anyone that impresses you when you've seen Wolves?
I think obviously if he could finish,
Mr. Baby-O.
Yeah, I was about to say Adama Traore. His pace is ridiculous, isn't it? But again, I think, if we talk about Darwin Núñez end product, rival fans, then Jesus Christ, Adama Traore is something else. But obviously, I think the main one for this weekend, I think obviously everyone's going to be looking at Matheus Nunes, obviously due to the links and so forth. If he was around as well, I think obviously, throughout the Wolves squads over the last few seasons, I think obviously Neto has been one of these players that's been linked.
Is he back now? Is he back?
I'm not entirely sure. No. I don't think so, no. But I think whenever he plays, I think he'll be well, if Wolves do get relegated, or if there is a cheap option there, I do think he will be at a top 6 club over the next maybe 12 months, 18 months time. Is 1-1 as well. But for me, mate, just
I was wondering what you were measuring there, boys, or something. I don't know.
No, Jack.
I was hoping it was a scoreline.
Once like that.
Jack's not 9 o'clock yet, mate.
Carry on there. Carry on, lad.
No, but for me, Matheus Nunes will be the biggest person I'll look out tomorrow for. Look, for me, I don't. I've said it on my channel. I said it to you as well. I don't get the whole deal scenario thing with him, but we'll obviously be keeping an eye out for him tomorrow. But I think it's interesting with Lopetegui because of course he wanted Wolves wanted him, I think, at the start of the season, or and then due to family reasons he couldn't join, and then he has joined now. It just feels quite similar to how Antonio Conte joined Spurs in that regards. But whenever you've seen Sevilla, in Europe, they've been pretty decent in that regard. But again, there's just a whole entire new squad. So yeah, Matheus Nunes for me would be the one to look out for.
Yeah, they've needed saving. Would you say, Con, in terms of when we've seen Wolves, they looked a very strange team, aren't they, Con, in terms of when they go forward, but defensively, the lapse of concentration, sometimes probably one of those teams in the Premier League that can get quite done in behind quite easy, would you say?
Probably. Like what I've seen of them so far this season, like last season they were awful defensively. I think I even had them to go down this season, just due to the lack of shape. Like I felt like Wolves don't have a midfield at times; they just go missing. Shock. We could potentially, say Liverpool in that regard, but it just. I don't know. Like I think the left back as well, the French left back. I think he is a player as well that will end up going to a big club. But I think just for me, it's just like relying on Diego Costa as well for goals is a bit dodgy. So
we've had our debate. My man's 50. Somehow he's my man is 50.
Just quickly, is Henderson playing tomorrow? I'd love Henderson to be up against Diego Costa again.
I think.
I think Jürgen was in the press conference. Was it today or yesterday? Saying that he's more or less fully fit and you'd anticipate him starting. And by the looks of it, Jackie was all updated. Big up Cedric as well. Obviously, I think you were in Dave's comments. Hope you're on recovery well, mate. As I said, obviously, you were saying you just got COVID. So recovering from that. So look after yourself, mate. As I said, and thank you very much for tuning in, mate. And everyone, look after yourselves. We've had a good Christmas and New Year, Cedric. Appreciate it, mate. But yeah, it's obviously RIP to Vialli as well. Obviously, him and Mancini back in the day, legendary players winning Italy the Euros. Obviously, well before my time, but obviously the documentaries and that I've seen, very talented footballer. But I think even when I've seen an interview today of Graham Souness just describing Vialli, you notice that in life anyway when people speak about certain individuals, like sounded like Souness was very much choking up in all honesty, because by all accounts and that's supposedly in the modern era of football. Souness is probably one of the hardest men in football, but he sounds like an absolute lovely, down-to-earth fella. Leon, obviously, sadly, lost the battle that he was continuing to fight, but fought from all the panelists and all the Liverpool fans around the world, obviously with his family. So you never walk alone, fella. But yeah, so sad news. And it's Ricky fired up for the round-up game. We'll get to Ricky in a little second. But yeah, big up there. Make sure I haven't missed anyone's comments. I'll ask Doug in a second about Curtis and obviously team selection. We'll start with Doug in the team selection, but and Ricky, chat's just loving they're getting battered. I was gonna say it would be the most Frank Lampard thing to do and beat Man United away after them playing so poor. Everton are struggling.
They're both shocking here in defence, man.
I hope the fridge playing.
I hope they do when he keeps his job.
Yeah, they're shocking. Like all the lads are doing is playing it forward, one lay back and one through ball, and it's chance after chance between two teams. They're both awful in defence.
But yeah, is the fridge playing, boys? Is he?
No.
Oh, shame. For some reason, Ten Hag was actually playing. Was it Luke Shaw centre half?
He's doing it again, I think.
Oh, is he? Oh, was he? But Doug, obviously, we'll get you and Ricky to start with your starting 11, mate. Who would you go with? And we spoke at the top of the show. Obviously, Liverpool, for me, I feel if we can be a bit more consistent in our team selection and have a bit more of a structured starting 11, who would you go with your starting 11? We'll get to Ricky's.
Crikey, you had to come to me first, didn't you? Kelleher. I think Kelleher will definitely start. I don't see... it definitely won't be Alisson. Because Alisson, I think, gets kept for the sort of the latter stages of these cup competitions, so it won't be Alisson. I think it'll be Kelleher in goal. I'm going to go Gomez at right back. I'm going to go Konate and Nat Phillips. Then I'm going to go Simi. And then I'm going to go Henderson, Basetic, and Curtis Jones. And then Gakpo, Nunez, and Doak.
Interesting. That's what I wouldn't have gone with, but very interesting. If you watch my post-match, I was absolutely fuming about Costas. Not just Costas, but Ricky, would you change it? Probably a lot. Speaking to you this week, would you change any of those players? Your starting 11? Or who would you hope to see to come to one?
Is Ramsey fit, or is he still learning to grow up
in the basement?
So I'd go Trent at right back, Kelleher in goal. So Trent, Gomez, Konate. I suppose you have to give the Greek Scouser a game, didn't we? So he can play left back. Fabinho, Bajcetic at midfield with.
He's going 4-2-3-1 or he's going 4-3-3?
No, we'll go 4-3-3. I'll go Curtis Jones in midfield with them. I'll then go. Yeah. We need to get him in the shop window. I'd go Mo Salah right wing. Nunez on the left. And Gakpo through the middle.
Interesting.
But if we do start to go 1 or 2-0 down, I'd bring the big boys off.
Sub you on as well, from the stands.
Yeah, might as well. I'll go tie myself to the goalpost.
Yeah. If you need handcuffs, there's plenty of time. Luke, obviously, there wasn't a lot of excitement from Ricky by the sounds of it as well. I think, like all of us anyway, mate. It's your starting 11, mate. As I say.
Could you imagine Ricky tying himself up to the goalpost and like someone comes on with those big shears? Could you imagine it? Jesus Christ. I mean, I'd rather him going an FSG out top now.
Sorry, there, lad. Chat, get your starting 11s in as well.
I
mean, Cavallo as well, wouldn't you? So.
Yeah. I've obviously Kelleher I believe will be in goal. I just think he goes strong. I think Trent will play right back. If he doesn't, then I agree with Doug. I think Gomez will play at right back. I think it will be Konate, and if it is Trent, then it'll be Gomez at centre half. But if not, then it probably will be Nat Phillips. I don't see Matip playing tomorrow. I think, Tsimikas at left back. Midfield 3, I'm going to go with Henderson, Bajcetic, and I probably think Jones maybe in midfield. Front 3, I think Gakpo plays on the left.
Go on, say it, Dutch one.
Gakpo. Oh, there's a bit of Scouse in there as well. Gakpo. Yeah, of course. I think Gakpo plays on the left. Someone made a good point on our channel, Rick, didn't they, about Salah might play on the right because we've only got one game and then there's nothing in midweek. And there's something that may put Salah in it. I think Darwin Núñez is up front. If it's not
like Salah's playing well, and we spoke about it yesterday. He needs to start banging goals.
It wouldn't surprise me if Salah does start. I do think Carvalho comes in, but that's if. I think that maybe in midfield, if Jones doesn't play, I think Carvalho will play, and they may play Henderson alongside like Bajcetic or Fabinho if that's the case. But I think Salah might start tomorrow, so I'm going to go with Salah. I think the front three is going to be strong. I think it will be Gakpo, Núñez, and Salah. I really think they're going to go strong with the front three tomorrow.
Yeah, spot on that. I'd go with Keller in goal, Trent right back, Gomez, Konate, Robbo, because I can't be dealing with 90 minutes. 20-minute period it cost us. Robbo, left back. I go with Bajcetic. I go with Fabinho, and then we go with Elliott on the right, Carvalho in the 10, Gakpo on the left, and Darwin Núñez. Actually, no, replace Elliott on the right with Salah. So I'd like to go with see us go 4-2-3-1. I know it's quite defensive for playing at home, but I think Liverpool need to start doing something different for me personally. I'd like to see Carvalho in his best position and not forced out wide left. Spider, your start 11 now?
Yep. As you just said, I'd like to see us try a 4-2-3-1 just to kind of entertain some of the players that are in the team and see how we get along. I like alternating between because we're too predictable at the moment. So I'd like to be able to alternate every so often between the teams. But I'm just going to go with the 4-3-3 because that's what we're used to. But maybe with the intent later of shutting up shop and going 4-2-3-1. I think he'll start Trent. He's only just back, had a couple of games, needs to play more games after the World Cup. There's a week between each game now. There's no like Champions League football or anything major coming up. Brighton's the following week. So I think it'll be Trent on the right. You might see a Gomez and Matip come in the centre back. It could be Konate as well, but he's just played a World Cup. But if he wants to rest Matip, I'll go with Gomez and Konate because he hasn't really tested that back line out yet, so he might test it. But the two lads are experienced enough. I do think he'll start Tsimikas left back because it's the cup. In the midfield, I'd want to see it kind of stronger, but I don't think we're going to see Thiago. I think it'll be Bajcetic. There might even be a Milner in there if Henderson's not ready, but we'll see.
His birthday yesterday as well, chat, wasn't it?
It is, yeah.
Give him a new 5 years deal.
Getting nearer to that pension.
Come on. Yeah, go
on. On the left hand side, you kind of want to see a Carvalho there, but you're not going to. So you might see Jones, Bajcetic, Milner, or Henderson, one of those two. I'm going to say Henderson because he plays more often, but if he's going to give Milner games, these are the ones he's going to give him. And then I do want to see Gakpo start. I want to see Núñez, and I do think Salah is going to start to play into form. So I think he'll go sort of strong. Well, not so. He'll go very strong in the attack. I think he'll go on medium strength in midfield, and I think he'll just go for sort of safe in the defence. They were not going too crazy. So by keeping a couple of players in there that have played already. So, in Trent and maybe Konate or Trent and maybe Matip, we'll see. But I think Jones will come in there anyway, and Tsimikas will get a start as well. So Kelleher on goal, obviously. because it's the cup.
Kelleher.
Anyone know if that fraud's back in midfield, or has he gone back injured in Naby Keita?
That throw could be
I'd
for
love to
anyone,
see
for
that.
you, Nicky, at this point, lad. Who are you alluding to?
Connor's favourite Liverpool player, Naby Keita. Is he back or is he injured
You
again?
can't be asked, Rick, as you said yesterday.
Lad, do not stop.
I'd
I think
like
he's
to see
injured
him
again,
start.
isn't he?
Connor is on
Are we?
record, though, Ricky, and I did print screen this. He said he'd happily drop Naby off in his own car. So
You've got
Connor,
to
give up on him.
I've got
Connor's give up on his boy.
Yeah.
That's when your boy's
said
made
that
a
last
Weetabix,
night.
you've got to get rid of him.
You said that last night on our stream, Connor, and I literally had to look for about 2 seconds to actually look. What are you saying? Like, what is this? Connor would drop Naby Keita off at the nearest airport. What's this?
Yeah. Well, Connor, are you starting Naby in your starting 11?
100%, lad, going 4-2-4.
To the point. And we had this. What player was it last week, lads in chat? Let me know. He wasn't in like the training ground pictures, and everyone had a meltdown saying he was injured.
Was it Darwin Núñez with a photo shoot?
I think so, yeah. And it was like Allison 1 week as well. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, Allison!" Yeah. he's a jack of all trades. He's an absolute madness of a man.
They had to take about 3 pictures, didn't they? He probably missed the button at the top.
Probably out of focus and all that. Like, so just pictures of the post as well. Connor, starting 11, mate. As I said, for you. Any surprises for you? Do you reckon? Or
well, obviously Kelleher's going to start. I think Calvin Ramsey is fit. I think he trained, but he was in the training video yesterday that I've seen. So I think still be Trent though. I think Nat Phillips and Joe Gomez. I think I did say earlier on you potentially start your best centre back pairing. I think Matip, he's too risky to even start this game because you need to wrap him up in cotton wool while Virgil's out. Costas on the left. I think midfield 3, Besetich, Jordan Henderson, and Curtis Jones for me. And then front 3, Cody Gakpo, Darwin Núñez, and then Ben Doak for me.
Interesting. It's about getting that right balance in a chance, and I think everyone's gone with a bit very different. I've went even a different formation, but it's the thing, boys, isn't it? Especially in those attacking areas in chat. We're very blessed, and ideally, as we said, we can't compensate. I don't think any squad can compensate unless you're either Manchester City or Real Madrid. They're the only 2 clubs in all of Europe that have got the resources at their disposal. We've went with different ones, and there's obviously a lot of attacking threats. And hopefully, lads, we do see a performance, and everyone in the comments as well. We do get the performance level that is required because Wolves, as we've already discussed, didn't touch too briefly on it, but we've got a lot of players, a lot of technical players that will very much threaten Liverpool potentially going forward. But as I said, Overs, yes, it's disappointing. We want midfielders in, but if we're not going to get them, then at the end of the day, we're not going to throw our toys out the pram, in all honesty. We've got Jurgen Klopp. He knows what he's doing. And I think he's learned a lot about this squad, especially this season. And I was speaking to Dave. I know everyone hates this word, but if it is to be a case of a transition season, and people might be screaming at the telly now, but if it is to be that case, if Liverpool are changing formation, bringing new players in, you look at Ibu Konate, if he's to establish himself as a first-team regular. You've looked at Harvey Elliott this season, coming into the starting 11, not an ideal starter anyway, still too young. Núñez, new signing, playing up front. Jota, Luis Diaz, both injured. Got a new signing coming in down the left-hand side. So, and fundamentally down that left-hand side, would you say, Luke, you're looking at these new players that have come in, or certain players that are getting that experience, it's not the chemistry. We look at Sadio Mane and Robbo. That was the chemistry down that left-hand side. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over a 2-3 season period. And I think that's something that Liverpool this season and going into next year, it's going to take a while. As much as we want it to happen now and we want it instantly, it's the modern day football fan, in all honesty. But do you think that will take a while to get these players fully integrated into different systems and into the football club?
I think that's the thing. And you've nailed it spot on the head. Like there are supporters, not just of Liverpool, but from other clubs as well, that expect things to happen overnight. I mean, at the end of the day, like I don't like that word transition, but every single club goes through a transition at some point in their tenure, if it's 2 years or 5 years later, etc. But yeah, I mean, Robertson was lucky to get into the team because of an injury for Moreno, and obviously that took, you know, a while. He's obviously settled in really well, but the connection with Mane especially, that took, as you said, 18 months, 2 years to really establish into its full potential. You know, you look at players like Gakpo that can offer something different towards a Mane type player, maybe at some similarities, but there's obviously differences. So the likes of Robertson and other players will have to try and gain different sort of ways of sort of playing alongside those type of players. And yeah, we've got to be honest. Like, I think at times, with that sort of scenario of wanting them to settle straight away, I think we've been a bit spoiled that we
100%.
want them to settle straight away. But at the end of the day, we have to realize it is going to take time. I see Brian put in the comments about Caicedo. I mean, if Caicedo comes,
and even a case, and to that point, Luke, and we'll also add that in a sec, it's going to be the same case with the midfield as well, mate. If we're looking at bringing in 3-4 key world-class players into the heart of that midfield, with the players going out come at the end of the season, we're going to have exactly the same. I think everyone's expecting Caicedo to come in, or players that ilk, or players that quality to coming in at the ground running.
And let's not forget, I mean, we don't know if he's coming to Liverpool or not, but if he does come to Liverpool, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that Caicedo could be that sort of Wijnaldum replacement that we've not had for a couple of years, for example. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, that's another thing that we've got to get used to again. If it's something that we want or something that we, you know, I know Ricky's obviously laughing because it's a Wijnaldum, obviously sort of type player, but I mean, we've missed that sort of player in the midfield, like that. We've missed that sort of type player, that availability, the athleticism, everything about a sort of player like that we desperately need right now. We need midfield players, and likes of Caicedo, or if it's anyone else that I can think of or can't think of, but it takes time. Like we've got to realize that everything takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. So yeah, I mean, I think we've just become a little bit spoiled, Jack. I think myself included. I want everything to happen, but like, we have got to be a bit more patient with things.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And I've had to, even before come on tonight, mate, and as I said, I don't think any of us we all like to be a bit positive, but every Liverpool fan knows the issues within this squad, and Jurgen Klopp knows exactly what the issues are. And if it's a case of like we had with Canate, where Liverpool have got a target and we know exactly who we want, and it's a case of Liverpool want him, but we can't get him in this window, then we can't get him. And fundamentally, Liverpool aren't going to whack a load of money on a player, like say, like as we did with Kabak and Ben Davis. Yes, it's frustrating, and it's the modern day era, especially in social media as well. We do YouTube for our enjoyment as well, but it's now. It's the very spoiled nature of the modern day football fan, in all honesty. Christ, just go back
Jack,
and watch the highlights.
I'd be honest with you, man. I wouldn't care less where they come in from, as long as they play football. I don't care if it's 16 million, whether it's 20 million, whether it's just a loan or something. I just want the bodies in there to fill the park. And even if we're disappointed in that, just be less disappointed when we buy them in the summer. But like, I just don't want the season to be a write-off for the rest of the season. I want us to at least battle for the top 4, and I want us to at least go for at least the FA Cup if we can. Oh, Champions League definitely.
The squad's good enough to get top 4 if it actually starts getting attacked.
It is, yeah. It is.
I think what's bad enough already is, like what Neil Jones said, there's already a list of Champions League targets and non-Champions League targets. I think that's
that's the worry, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a real frightening stage where we're like, we have targets in Champions League and not, and they're already planning that. It is a bit frightening.
Yeah, Ricky, go on, La. What are you saying?
Couple things. So I've seen today that apparently we've got 200 to 250 million to spend in the
summer. You live too much on Twitter, La. My nan could like start a fucking.
That's what happens when you work from home.
That's one thing. Number 2, this squad ain't good enough to hit top 4. No chance.
Is that with like a fifth side and Salah, Jota, Luis Diaz, Van Dijk back to his best, Alisson?
Yeah, even with them all
Are you
fit.
mad?
Our midfield's not good enough.
It's been good one for the last 3-4 years.
I think that's
Yeah,
the
but
problem, though. I think we
that's
talk
3-4
about being,
years.
I think we talk about being spoiled, but to be honest, I see Ricky's point about the midfield. If we
Like-
don't get that midfield sorted out in January, I think
It's
we
like,
do
no,
struggle top
This
four.
is what we've had these players fit at the start of the season, early part of the season, before the World Cup, and we were shit. People are living in dream world if they're getting Caicedo, Jude Bellingham, Enzo Fernandez, even Matheus Nunes. We're not getting them types of players. We have no cash.
We do have cash.
So where is it then? We haven't spent no cash. So where is it then?
I've just said
We can't be Jack. We can't be sitting.
We're waiting for the right
The
player.
boss,
We're
the
waiting for the right
owner
Waiting for the
gave.
right
Was it
player, mate. We've been waiting for the right player for 5 years.
Come
then
on,
in
come on,
midfield.
Ricky. You already know which midfielder you want to mention. You want to mention Jay Spearing. You already know it.
Listen, Rick. Look, we have got the Rick. We have got the
We
cash.
have
got
I mean,
the
look,
cash.
look. You got to think as well. Like we've just, was it John Henry just gave that? John Henry just
Yeah, but
gave.
it's over 11 years. It's 30 mil a
Mickey,
season.
would you rather
it's
we
a
done what Chelsea's
£330 million
Yeah, but
contract.
it's 30 mil over 30 mil a season for 11 years. That's peanuts. We paid that on
Ricky,
Gakpo.
Would you
But
rather
apparently we
Liverpool?
stretched our finances for Gakpo.
So Ricky, say we Liverpool went and done what everyone wants on Twitter, spend £250 million on 2-3 midfielders. What happens if they're shite? Pardon my French.
But that's a risk you take.
No, that's not. It's not how
That's the
business
Chelsea
or
and
football
Manchester
can
United
work.
bit.
That's a Man United thinking level.
We're all calling for Jude Bellingham to come in. We pay 150 for Jude Bellingham. We go get Caicedo for 60 to 70 million.
Are you
Everyone's
playing
loving
FIFA,
it.
lad?
No, but that's, what I'm saying is everyone's loving it if we go get them two players. But what if they flop?
Well, that's the risk. Like with when we
Everyone's-
bought in
That's a
Salah,
risk you
Mane,
take.
Van
Everyone's
Dijk,
crying.
Alisson.
Everyone's crying. We need to sign Jude Bellingham. He's great. He's this. He's that. We go sign Jude Bellingham. He's playing in the Mickey Mouse League in a minute. We go sign Jude Bellingham for 150 million, and he's absolute pony. Then what?
Yeah, but every fan's expecting to.
But what do
for
we do
Liverpool
then?
To bring in, yeah. What
Listen,
What do you want? Like, what do you want?
That's what
Or,
you
like,
want.
not
You
just
want.
you, like,
Well, I want Liverpool to be able to spend money because we need to spend money.
Yeah, but
We
the day a lot
bought
of
one
Liverpool
midfielder in
fans
4
realise
years.
we have no money.
No, I'm not buying this notion Liverpool don't have money. All of us buy the kits. We buy merchandise. The fans, there's plenty of hospitality. And the fact is, Liverpool haven't been spending money because, obviously, Jurgen
But
Klopp,
why
and
then?
we all know. Well,
So like,
Because that's
it's
FSG
It's
model.
rare for Liverpool to spend a huge amount in one go.
Yeah, but
The
that's
last
fine.
time we did in 2018.
my
Liverpool
biggest
have
thing
never
is
been that type of club
no, but
where we
I'll get
spend.
that. But my biggest
Like-
thing is we've been saving money for the past 2 to 3 windows for Jude Bellingham. We don't get Jude Bellingham. Do you know how embarrassing that's going to look to everyone else? Because we've been saving up and like bringing this
Well,
geezer's name up every window that we're going to sign Jude Bellingham. We're going to sign Jude Bellingham. We're saving money for Jude Bellingham. We're not even going to get him. And how embarrassing is that?
Jude Bellingham's not the messiah to Liverpool's issues.
I know, I get that, but then when you keep going on about it every summer, Liverpool, the journalists are what Jude Bellingham's #1 target. We've set aside this amount of
we
money.
all-
We've been saving up.
We all know how journalists work, though, boys.
It's going to look embarrassing, though, isn't it, for Liverpool?
Journalists work off
Journalists-
Twitter. You say, no, I've never been on Twitter that often.
You work off clicks and getting
Yeah.
traction.
No, I
and
get
creating
that, but do you not
headlines and
think it's
everything.
going to look embarrassing if we don't land Jude Bellingham as a football club? We've been
Well,
flirting with him at the World Cup.
Not
Henderson
really,
and
because
Trent.
you were losing
No.
him to Real Madrid. You
We
know,
lose
look at
to-
Tchouaméni. That's like saying, oh, it's
Yeah.
embarrassing we didn't get Tchouaméni.
Yeah, but you can't be saying that you're saving money every summer for Jude Bellingham. He's your #1 target. Keep
Liverpool have never
broadcasting it.
said that.
No, so
Most fans have said it.
The one
not
thing,
Liverpool.
the
Twitter-
one thing,
Twitter-
journalists close to Liverpool.
Twitter-
said it.
the one thing that FSG have actually sort of come out and said, which was, you know, they're unable. Obviously, if they want to decide to sell the club, they're unable to compete with City, Chelsea, for example, in the transfer market. So the only thing is, I would be worried about is like, all right, we can't particularly offer the wages for these type of players like compared to Chelsea, but surely the amount of money that Liverpool have made in the last 5 years, for example, in prize money, in kit sales, in TV revenue, everything about that, surely we're able to offer big money for a transfer for a player. But it is worrying if FSG then come out and say, oh yeah, we can't actually compete with them.
Apparently there's a report coming out in the next few weeks, 600 million revenue with £62 million profit, and we don't see none of that on players.
Doug, your thoughts, mate? Obviously, what we were just discussing here, like, what's your general thoughts? Because the way I look at it, Doug, Liverpool and every Liverpool fan around the world, we know the issues. We've known that we've got, probably looking at Thiago's not getting any younger. We're looking at like 3 or 4 potentially midfielders leaving Liverpool. That money, if it was getting kept behind for the big, massive 6-month, 12-month period of Liverpool going out and replenishing that midfield on the right, correct players. But what's your general thoughts, mate, on
that? I'm in agreement with Ricky a little bit. I think 150 million on one player is way too much. I don't think we would spend that amount on one player. I think if you spend 150 mil, I think it's probably going to be over a couple of players. I can't see us spending 150 million on one player. But we need to have more than one target. You know, we've been guilty of this in the past, that we've had one target, and then it's a case of having to rush about to try and find like a target that could come in again. We need to have a list of players. Obviously, Bellingham will be at the top. I can imagine that, and then work your way down, and then basically see what ones we can get. But to say that we're in transition is a little off-putting, and I think it's quite off-putting as well for the fans.
Isn't there always going to be a drop-off though, mate? Like it was.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Liverpool went 2 years without like losing a game of football, or like 2 whole years of losing a game of football. That's not normal.
No, I think everyone probably expected a drop-off at some point. Maybe not this season, but I think when you've basically almost gone and won nearly everything last season, I do think that there is going to be a bit of tiredness in there. But as I said, we need to have a list of targets. We just can't have one target, and if it doesn't come off, then just rush around. We have to have a list of targets to go out there and try and buy players. Because let's be honest, Bellingham is a dream right now. He's a right dream. If we're being honest, I mean Gavi again. Like it's the big wages. That's what worries me as well with him. It's going to take time to see what happens over the summer.
And that's the thing. Sorry there, Doug. That's what it will be names that the people on Twitter. That's why I don't tend to spend time.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be players that we as fans have not identified. The data statistics, and everyone will be having the number 1 or 2s. And when you look at it, there's probably the data science behind Liverpool, the way we do our recruitments. The numbers will be there. It present themselves. Look at Salah. He wasn't first choice. Me and Connor spoke about it years ago. It was Julian Brandt. Jurgen Klopp wanted, but they went, no, go for Salah. And he pointed him in the right direction.
Over 25 scouts actually told Klopp, get Salah. And eventually it was like, right, I have to go for him. But I just wanted to add to Doug's point, like Liverpool, I mean, as Connor said, like they brought out this list of targets for Champions League and non-Champions League targets for next season. We see last summer, we went after Tchouaméni. We didn't get him because he wanted to go to Real Madrid. But who was the backup? We didn't have a backup. Like we didn't have. And I felt for Artemelo. I really did. Like, all right, we were a bit excited when we signed him because it was a midfielder. It was a different option. All right, he's not stayed fit, and I feel for him. I feel for him in the sense as well where, there's so much hype around him, and it's not really his fault that, he's just sort of been dragged into this Liverpool sort of setup because I think from the moment we signed him, we sort of knew that nothing was really going to suit his style of play. You know, he's a very slow dictator of a midfielder that doesn't really press much. You know, like he was just being put into a position where he sort of weren't going to really get into the team. And I just don't understand why is it taking Liverpool, say, 3 years or 4 years to have a target and then think, okay, if we've got one in mind and we can't get that person, then surely there's another 2 or 3 midfielders in those areas where we can really look at. Why is it taking so long now for Liverpool to really sort of, like, we're in trouble now? From that top 4 list and that non-top 4 list, that goes to show with Ricky's point, in my opinion, they believe that we're not good enough this season to get into the top 4.
Yeah, and this is fantastic. I love disagreeing. I disagree with many things Ricky says, but I still love the lad. I love you, lad. And that's the thing. If there's disagreement, then there's wiggle room for all of us. We don't want to be all saying nodding yes to the same things. As I said, a lot of people on Twitter believe, and I've said in the past with Luke and Ricky and we spoke to all the lads, Jurgen Klopp saying sometimes has a bit of too many yes men around them. And I think if he had a bit more people saying, no, you're doing that wrong, I think long-term Liverpool will eventually sort their ship out. Connor is live in 12 minutes, so I'll quickly round off. So please, if you are watching now, Connor will be live at 9 p.m. tonight, everyone. So Mark, if you
With
can
exclusives.
if you can leave Connor's stream link in the
Connor
description.
Romano.
Even Doug started now.
I've said one thing and it's just turned into just this.
Just accept it, Connor. That's the best way. Just accept it.
Do you know what? If the thing I said was right, though, I don't want to hear it from anyone. There we go.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. What was it?
That's right. We'll leave it for post-show.
He wants to give Cater a new deal.
Yeah, Ricky, score prediction, mate. When you tie yourself to the goalpost tomorrow.
3-1 Wolves.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why did he ask? It's fine that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, sorry. Oh, man, you know me. I hate transfers. I don't want nothing to do with transfers. I stay a mile away from it. I think it's a fantasy land FIFA-esque place in the middle of Twitter where all these young fellas just going nuts for like 4 weeks at a time. I just trust the process and see who we bring in. I think there'll be. If we don't bring somebody in, it's because there's a couple of big coming in the summer. I do believe that we don't spend money every single window.
Above our
maybe
means.
a little bit, yeah. And I think we spend what we make, but not too much. But I think when we don't spend what we make, I think it's built up and then done every maybe 5 windows in kind of that kind of way, if you know what I mean. So you're talking like nearly every 3 years or something that you see a couple of big boys coming in the same window. Then in between that you see one boy or you see the odd small boy or a young fellow brought in. So but that's just my take on that. I'm not worried who we bring in as long as it's the right player. To be honest with you, I don't care about Jude Bellingham's. I don't care about that. I know that we went for Valverde at the end of one window there in the last couple of windows or something. I don't care what the name is as long as he's the right type of player to fit Liverpool. I think that once the minute somebody associates a player with Liverpool, the club puts up the price anyway, and they believe that they've got a thing. So that's why I hate it being talked about and mentioned about online, because it just does injustice to your own club rather than then help them in any way. Do it in a little private message inside WhatsApp and don't put it on Twitter. You'll be laughing. But that's for me. But look, I think we do the business tomorrow. I don't think Wolves will have it. I think whatever team we put out is going to have to make up for the game last week. Because even though we were kind of dominant in it, we were just caught up. The one thing we have to work at is those over the top balls getting caught out, because that's what keeps putting us into hassle.
And if it is 3-1 to Wolves, I will come on and I'll do a forfeit. Whatever forfeit that is, I will do it for Ricky. So whatever Ricky forfeit.
I'm thinking either 2-0 or 3-1 to Liverpool.
Tie yourself up to a goalpost.
Well, that's
I think
or something like.
I think if we start the right team and we don't just kind of experiment just for the sake of it, I think it'll be 2-0, 3-1 to Liverpool, that kind of way. So I think you go 2-goal cushion. I think we'll go at them early and hope to hit them. If we go down 1 again, it'll just make it frustrating, but I still think we'll win it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3-1 Liverpool. Luke,
same as Brian, 2-1 Liverpool. I think we make it hard work. We did it against Leicester, didn't we? We made it hard work for ourselves, but we came behind. Obviously, we actually lost the game 3-0. Obviously, I don't know where our new signing is. Is it Fass or wherever his name is, the Leicester centre half? We Love him right now. There's a goal for it. Yeah. I think we make it difficult for ourselves, but I think we get over the line 2-1.
Yeah, Con, quickly. I'll quickly round up.
3-1 Liverpool.
Doug?
Darwin Núñez to Cody Gakpo to get a goal on his debut.
Yeah. Doug?
Do I go optimistic or do I go pessimistic?
Where's Gary in the comments? I want Gary to put 6-0.
Gary, get me your 7-0 in the comments now, man. Come on, Doug. I'm making shouts up by Con here. I'm on the schedule.
I can see goals tomorrow. I'm gonna go for one of those classic games. 4-2. 4-2.
Yeah, sounds right. And chat, have you missed it? Who's this?
The greatest Italian to play for us, isn't it?
Is it Aquilani?
No,
Yeah,
not Aquilani. Chat, who's this?
No.
First,
Benayoun?
Benayoun. Yeah.
No.
It's not Yassi Benayoun. Oh, it's not Paulson. No,
That's not Torres, is it?
Núñez? Ain't Núñez.
Robbie Fowler.
Is he
It's
Greek?
a good one here. No one. Okay, but how many points to anyone that gets it?
Is he Greek?
No.
What position
No.
he play?
Give the nationality.
I'm not cheating. You
What's-
should get
What
that.
position?
Defender.
Kyriakos.
Kyriakos.
No,
No.
you'd be better,
Who's the Scottish kid we had? Ain't him, is it?
No,
not
keep on
what-
getting your guesses in here, chat. I've got to
What?
think of them.
Yeah, right back.
Diego?
left back,
Gabriel
centre half.
Paletta.
No.
What
Not
is he?
Dagan,
It's got to be
no.
that's
Centre half.
09, isn't it? Is that 09? 09?
It
That's
is.
the that's the 09. That's the kit where we beat
United.
United 4-1.
Is it
but it was in the
defender?
grey.
Give up. Yeah, it's the
No,
defender.
not yet. Not yet.
He's a right back, isn't he?
That's not
No.
Degan, is it?
No.
That's what I was thinking it was Degan for them.
Oh,
Oh, yes, no way. I think
Oh
chat's
my-
give up anyway. Chat, no one's got it.
Nah, give us
No.
another minute. Give us another minute.
Ayala.
Right, give me one more. No. Your defender. Come on,
Pellegrino,
chat.
where he's no, ain't him, is it?
Tell you what,
Pellegrino.
This could be a good quiz. I'm gonna have to do a good quiz of this.
This is brilliant.
Jack, who is it, lad?
No,
Right.
give us another.
Right,
Give us
Move
another
the
minute.
circle.
right. No, it's not Alberto
Sebastian
Moreno.
Leto.
Moreno.
There we go. Yes,
He's not a
Doug.
defender. He's a winger.
He's a left wing back. Or left back.
He's a left winger. Left wing back. When did
Nah.
Liverpool ever play left wing backs?
Leto.
Oh, Leto.
Well, there we go. Sebastian Leto. That's who it was.
Oh,
So-
oh, there you go.
There we go. Happy
With his
days,
2
Doug.
appearances.
Yeah, there we go.
Look at the-
Legend.
Look at the pixels
Absolutely.
as well. Right.
Oh, well, bloody. Nah, it's your rubbish monitor, that, Luke. Yeah, change it out, lad. Blaming pixels. But, gents, thank you very much for tuning in. Please do head over to Connor's live stream in a little second. But, gents, a massive thank you for jumping on. All the lads' links will be in the description. Well, as we go now anyway, I'll be putting them in. So, you know, Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast. Enjoy the game tomorrow, mate. Spider LFC. Luke from the 1892 Reds podcast. Reds TV. There we go. The Cop Council, who's live in 2 seconds in a second. So head over there as well, everyone, please. And Doug from the Dugout Football Channel. And a massive thank you to every single one of you that is tuned in. The absolute legends. But Reds, hopefully we just get the result tomorrow night. We'll be live for a post-match reaction and obviously a live stream watch along as well. But gents, massive thank you, gentlemen and ladies, as well in the comment section below. Have a lovely rest of your night. And come on, the Reds. Let's get into the 4th round of the FA Cup. See you later. Ta-ra.